What's up, everybody? You know what it is, another episode of American Grits. We got a full house. Panel's back in the business. See my girl right here. We got someone in the studio. We got someone on Skype. 2 people got eliminated. Let's get it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Love you, I just...
Hey.
I feel like this.
No shade.
The red light.
No shade.
And it's better for me to let it go now.
Oh, yes, girl.
But I mean,
Yes, girl.
anyone kind of know what you said.
Oh, man. $1.1 million, guys.
You couldn't pay me enough.
$1.1 million for that.
I was like, you can't pay me enough.
Let it burn.
Damn.
Let it burn, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God.
It's burning.
It's on fire.
That's what she said.
Oh,
terrible.
man.
Y'all terrible.
Oh my God.
Y'all terrible.
I just, man, it's just, yeah, you know, I mean, you know, I don't know what to say on that. You just gotta let
It's a
it, you know,
free
he's
pop.
singing it. He's singing it. Let it burn. See, you got it? He's saying it right there. He's letting you know ahead of time. I mean, he let him know. He let him know.
That's right.
He let him know, Ty. He let him know, Ty. He let him know.
But wasn't that the
Dirty,
joke,
though.
like back in the day, anyways? Wasn't
What?
that the joke with the song when people would say they'd be like, "Let it burn," like chlamydia or something like that? You know, like
I didn't hear
who
that.
you were hanging out with.
I never heard
You
that.
need to watch out for those
But
people.
sure.
I had a very interesting group that they would say a lot of interesting things, and they were all
I see.
all weird.
It's all good.
I don't talk to
Understand.
them anymore.
Not since yesterday. What's up, everybody? You know what it is. Your boy Lem Gonsalves here. You can find me always at the Poet Saying all day, every day. Super excited because we have an amazing show planned for you, and we're gonna get to it. But before we do that, I got my girl Yvette Sanchez in the house right now.
I thought you were gonna say at least back.
Yeah.
So we could kind of like flow with it.
Where's he going with this? Okay.
I don't know where he's going, but you know, you guys can always find me at Sports and Sass on Twitter with 3 S's. And then to my left, I got my girl over here.
Canadian's finest.
TK Trinidad, you can find me on everything. You are in the middle of my birth season. It is 3 weeks.
Birth season.
Birth season, yes,
Yes.
it's a serious thing.
Yeah.
You can go in my little link. I'm donating to the Boys and Girls Club, so I really help you guys help me. There's 9 days left. Appreciate it.
Get it cracking.
Get cracking.
Get it.
And of course, anchoring as always, my A1 since day one.
Get
The
it.
latest white man I know.
Yes.
Mr. Ty Matthews.
That's what it is. What it do?
These people.
You gotta have some
You
Hispanic
know.
in you
Stereotype
somewhere.
right here.
Some Hispanic in you, because I was
Got
like,
that
oh,
CP time right
I'm not as white as it gets.
I don't know about that.
Guys, y'all can find me on all forms of social media at Ty Matthews PMA.
Yes.
Happy to be here.
Happy to be here.
We got a full house.
Full house, ladies and gentlemen.
there. I think I'm like about to like wrestle or something.
I know, right?
Good. I'm on the Lucha Underground after show in about 2 hours from now.
Get it cracking.
Get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some special guests with us. First in the studio, live with us with Shoe Game on Fleek.
Fleek,
On
though.
Fleek, ladies and
Yes.
gentlemen.
Yes.
Please give it up for Miss Janessa.
Get it.
Yes.
Look at that.
How you doing, girl? Yo, good.
A little gassy, but it's cool.
Yeah, so hey,
Hey,
you know, it happens. I love
Nothing
truth,
new.
truth and honesty.
It's a great life. They
That's
know
what we
about
do.
it.
Exactly.
They know about it.
They know.
I love it.
They
She's
know.
honest.
They know.
You know, half of us when we're talking, we're trying to hold back the burps. We're like,
Hey man, I just sometimes you gotta let it go and let it burn.
Oh my God.
Both.
We're not-
I mean, really?
I don't know about letting it burn, but you know, you gotta let it
I
go.
know.
I mean, you know,
So-
it's just a throw.
Tell us something, poet.
No.
Get the
No.
ladies
No.
like that.
No.
I'm speaking for other people.
okay.
Right.
Speaking poetically.
Not for myself.
Speaking for a friend.
Exactly. There you go.
Metaphorically
There you
speaking.
go. Speaking of friend, we also have someone in the Skype universe with us, all the way from her computer, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Scarlett is in the house. Yes. Big hair, don't care.
Jersey in the house.
Jersey. First of all, you said, Scarlett, you said before this is like your regular hair. Like this is your real hair.
I
Is this
love
how you
it.
wear it all the time? Is this how you wear it all the time?
Most of the time, yeah. I mean, who has time to straighten this in the summer? Like, it's a waste of time with all the humidity and stuff. It's just like, within 2 seconds, it's a poop ball. So I just embrace my natural hair.
Right. It happens. I embrace my natural hair as well.
Yeah.
So
I can tell.
I mean, in the summer it gets a little. You know, you just gotta let it go.
Really?
You know.
He's bald,
Yeah,
by
exactly.
the way. just so you.
It's all good. It's all good. So
For Scarlett and our iTunes listeners.
let's break down this episode. So a lot went down. There was another double elimination. So this is 2 now that we've had for this season. I feel like they're just chopping
Yeah.
y'all down.
Just
Like,
get
you
'em
know
out
what I'm
of
saying?
there.
I'm like, yo, son, you can't
Man.
get attached to nobody.
Nope.
Nobody. It's like Game of Thrones. Like, you know, as soon as you're like, oh my gosh, I love this. No, they're dead. Like,
Out of here.
and you guys are just ringing out, you know. First of all, I'll go to you, Scarlett. When you found out it was another double elimination, what was the initial thought? Because you already went through that before. Sorry, Janessa. I'm looking at Janessa, and I said Scarlett.
So wait,
I'm like,
who are you talking to?
I'm talking to Scarlett, but it's the shoes, man. I can't get away.
You can't
You see, I
get
spilled
away.
water and everything.
What do you want to do with the
Yeah.
shoes?
Whoa, damn,
Okay,
you see
yes,
that? Like, what's
yes.
going on here?
Okay, I'm gonna go to
Put
Scarlett.
it out
No. She put you in the ringer now.
there.
What you want to do with the shoes?
So Scarlett, I
So
was
we
talking
found
to
out.
you.
We found out something about
Scarlett,
Lem today.
yeah.
Like
You found
heels.
out nothing. You found out that she has nice shoes. That's what you found out.
Damn.
Scarlett,
Yes.
looking at you. What did you think when you heard it was a double elimination coming up?
Oh fuck.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
That's where we starting.
That was it.
Sorry, we all have to curse. No, but when I
Now
knew-
we are.
I was just like, oh man, it's gonna be that much harder because it's like when it's a single elimination, you're just like, okay, one person goes down, the 2 are good, but then you have to wait for 2 people to go down. Like,
Right.
it's crazy.
Right.
So it's a lot of mental preparation for that for sure.
Absolutely. Going to you, Janessa, we were talking a little bit before the show. I want to get right into the challenge because this challenge was very interesting, how it went down. And I still feel like I didn't get the whole gist of it. So if you can do us the favor and break down the challenge and actually what it was meant to be.
The team challenge.
The team challenge, yes.
The team challenge was whichever team got the highest average, they won. And obviously they send opposing teams to elimination. So if multiple people chose the same box, whoever got there first got the points. That it was pretty much that simple.
Okay.
And we had a couple of people that went for the same box, like the 100 box, like 4 or 5 people did that one. And Herman was the one to win that, so he had to go into automatic elimination. And we had a few curveballs in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you have a strategy going in at all or no?
Our Allison, our strategy was to
Because this was the first time, if I'm not mistaken, the cadre was not able to be there, right?
I saw the show like 3 days ago, so I'm trying to. And then I just.
that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, Allison.
Allison.
We'll get there.
Allison.
We'll get
Yeah,
there.
no,
She
we're
down
gonna
to
get
let
there.
it burn.
We're gonna
So-
get there.
We'll get
We're gonna
there.
get there. We're gonna get there. But yeah, this was the first time the cadre was not there for the challenge, correct?
Yeah, and the strategy for us was because they said choices, the choice was, and we decided unanimously that we would go for whatever the win was for the team. There was that was just non-negotiable.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Scarlett, did you all have the did you all have the same type of strategy, or was your strategy different on your squad?
There was no strategy on our squad because we had no idea what we were getting into. And we weren't allowed to talk to each other before like going in. So we had no idea. People went in one at a time. We didn't know what was going on. You didn't know until you got there. So when they explained it to me, I was a bit confused. And then I was like, okay, I think I got it. And then I thought of a kind of a strategy for myself. And then that flew right out the window as soon as I crossed over that log. I just went around. I kept reading. And then I didn't pay attention to points like that. And then when I saw what I chose, I was like, oh, shit. So immediately I regretted my decision. But it was a very high stress situation for me. And John Cena was not lying when he said that was going to be the hardest team challenge that we would ever have to do because it was something we were doing on our own. So that was a very challenging, mentally challenged for me. And yeah, you guys saw the results.
Yeah, right. What did you all think about
So
this?
did you guys know that they were going to show what you guys picked? Like, did you guys figure that was going to happen, or did you figure, okay, well, we're just going to put it in there and whoever wins, and nobody's going to know what we ended up picking after all?
Nobody
Is it-
knew. Do you mean relative to the show or us being there?
You being there. So when you put
Yeah.
it in that thing, do you think, okay, after everything's done, are they going to say, well, you picked this? And so, because now that's causing kind of strife within the teams. So did you guys figure, okay, that they're going to see it anyway? Or he's like, okay, this is all going to be kind of anonymous?
I think, like Scarlett said, in a high duress situation like that, you just go for the gusto. I believe that there are, either you're in it for the team or you're in it for the win, whatever. So people chose what they thought was best to choose at that time. I don't really think people care what other people thought. Honestly, I don't.
What I thought was fascinating was Chris's strategy, the fact that he went straight for the most points that he saw the fastest right off the bat before even reading anything.
Yeah.
That was
pretty
interesting.
smart because that ended up working out for him. So
Because
that
he was
was
the first
that
of
was
his.
pretty smart. And aside from that box that he first saw, the only other higher points was the 100 point automatically go into elimination. So he really lucked out with just like seeing the first two, and then the one he chose was the second highest amount of points, and he got to steal George Foreman. So it really worked out for him.
But he found a loophole, though, because I don't think any of I would love to hear what the producers have to say, but I don't think the producers thought about that, because he put it in, and he could have took it out and put it somewhere else, correct? That's how it seems like to me.
No, once you put your medallion in, that's it.
Yeah, I didn't think that you could.
Yeah,
take that either.
how he explained it felt like he put it there, and he's like,
I was like, wait, is that it? They're like, yeah, and I'm like, fuck, because I really wanted to change it right away.
Right.
But yeah, once you put it in, that was it.
He did make a round
Right.
around the tree
After
and
the
read
fact.
everything after
Yeah.
he put it in,
Oh,
just to
okay.
see what they all said.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah.
it
Okay.
wasn't, yeah.
All right.
Because to me, that would defeat the purpose. If you
Yeah.
could, like,
Right.
oh, I'll do this. and
Yeah, I'll
then
do
it
this
just
instead.
gives you, like,
Let's
a
do
big
that.
But yeah,
advantage.
I thought that was super smart for
Right.
sure.
Oh, for sure. So obviously, you found out your results when you got back. It wasn't instant like normally your challenge are. And there was some words said. In your case, Janessa, you were talking and you basically said that, you took the highest number. And your best friend Allison also said
Almost said the N-word.
Sometimes it just comes out, too. So
Mama. Okay, don't do that.
she also said the same thing you did, which wasn't necessarily true.
Tried it.
Right. Which started this spiral with her this entire episode. But what was your initial reaction when she said what she said?
Ooh, the off-camera stuff.
Yeah.
They didn't show.
Right.
I honestly wanted to shake the shit out of her because she lied. She said that she went for what was the highest points, that the highest thing she could choose outside of what she thought I would choose. She said she knew I would go for 100, but she chose 40 is what we saw on TV.
Right.
It said 40 points or 45, Scarlett. Which 40 for the sleeping on the floor thing? Whatever.
I think
But-
that was 45.
40.
I think
40 or 45.
think
But
40.
again, she said she went for the highest number outside of that. And as you saw, she actually took her time. She didn't even race to the box. So she could have chosen anything. So when she said that,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where after a while, when you keep picking stuff apart, especially, on my level, you become that angry black woman, that thing goes, if you say anything. So I'm just looking at her like,
That's just right.
you know what I mean? And it was just like, I don't want to make Chloe, have her disappointed in me because I'm complaining or nitpicking. But, I mean, for people to say Allison is as smart as she is, I mean, she's sneaky and she's conniving, but she's not smart. I don't think, when you're smart, you don't get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
called
fair.
her.
She's manipulative.
Episode, I didn't
That's
like
fair
her from
point.
day
Very
one.
manipulative.
Yeah.
No, she's.
Yeah, I don't think she's anyone's favorite on this panel,
No.
by any stretch. And I think
Marie Antoinette on the live chat says, "Who in the room doesn't like Allison? Brady or Carla?" I don't mind Carla. Carla's a straight shooter. I mean, I can.
well, speaking
You know
of
what? You know what
Engage
though?
it.
I think
That's
being Carla's teammate, like I can honestly say, like yes, she had her tendencies, but she put it all out there. She didn't lie. She didn't manipulate. Like she was 100% herself, and you have to respect her for that. And there's a lot of off-camera things that they don't show, but
Right.
Carla had some heart-to-hearts with some people on the cast, and I have had many heart-to-hearts with her. Me and her have had conversations where both of us are crying, talking about our families and our past and stuff. So I understood Carla completely, where they kind of edited it, where she came off more bitchy than she really is.
Yeah, I didn't trust that edit. I think
Neither did I, but
that edit came it seemed like it kind of came out of nowhere these last maybe 2 episodes or so, you know?
But you know what? Her kind of personality is like if someone doesn't like something being told to them the way it is, you're not gonna like her. She's gonna be an automatic bitch.
Right.
So when I saw that,
Going
I was
for
like,
the 5-pointer though. That's what.
know.
That's what got me.
she didn't care. She's like, I want 5 points.
Yeah.
Man.
But not to defend Carla, but in Carla's case, she had a really strong target on her back. Any time that we lost after losing Jill, all the cadre talked about was putting in Carla.
Right.
She had beat Will and Sherman, which were 2 strong male competitors. She was a serious threat. So she knew no matter what, she was going to keep getting put in over me and Rich. So I understand why she chose that, because we also did need her at the end of the day, even if we didn't win that challenge.
Speaking of that, Scarlett, there was a moment where we saw, the choices, and you picked the same thing she did, which was safety. And she had words. She said that it was stupid for you to choose safety. In her words.
Stupid.
In her words. What do you? I mean,
once again, with editing, they cut that conversation short.
Okay.
Like, she saw that at first when me and her talked about it and stuff, when we were fine. We were okay with what happened, and I did. Okay. And what they also didn't show is I felt so badly about it that I had gone to Berg and asked him to put me for elimination. Oh, and me and Berg actually had like a talk, because on the whole show he's just hard ass drill sergeant, right? But when he spoke with me and I asked him to put me up and I told him like how I felt, how I didn't like the choice I made, he had a heart-to-heart to me, and he opened up about some of his past, some of his story, and let me know like, hey, I made horrible mistakes and this was the consequence, so you seem to care and you just have to learn from it. And I was like, you know what, you're right. And I had a talk with John Cena too about it, and he's like, I never made the same mistakes twice. So the choice that I made in a moment when I was really high stressed, it wasn't my best moment, but I learned from it to know like I would never do that again if I could do it again.
Right.
But obviously, like, I wasn't fully thinking when I made that choice, because as soon as I put my medallion in, I completely regretted it, and I was such a crybaby about it afterwards, which I'm kind of glad they didn't show.
No,
but I faced the consequences, and I went to elimination. I told Burke put me up. He ended up putting me in anyway, and I lost. And it is what it is. So all you got to do is learn from the choices you make.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of Burke, he did win the challenge, which is why he got to choose. Obviously, Herman was going in anyway. So then it was just a matter of who was going to go from Team Red and who was going to go also from your team. And so,
I'm lactose. Let me get some ice cream.
Before yeah, exactly. So I want to point out, and we've been kind of on this whole season on this panel regarding Grady and his stacked team, right? And I know that the cadre has also had words with him, and I feel like that there was a lot that came out on this particular episode, because especially now he's like really like showing what he's about, and he's basically saying, look, if somebody chooses someone from my team, I'm going to sabotage the rest of the competition. I'm thinking that's like super horrible move.
That's dirty.
That's
absolutely.
super dirty.
Absolutely.
I mean, and my thing is like, it's like by any means necessary, I'm going to win, which I don't think the value or how the show is being set up or being, proven to, it takes away from that. Right. What do you guys think?
I mean, if you're going to be a dirty player, then like fine, by all means. But to put it out there like that, to tell a whole group of individuals who they're going to tell the cadre, it's like, why would you do that? If you're going to be that, self-sabotage type person, just talk to your team. It's like, look, this might happen, and if this has happened, then, this is what we're going to do. Who's all in favor, and they all agree, then they're all just as trifling, right? But for him to do all that, that's just ballsy and like, come on.
It was all. Who do you think you are?
Yeah, right.
Like,
I think it was just a.
That's
it was just a big.
What Ricky and Chloe said. They said the exact same thing you just said to him.
It was just a big bluff. Yeah. I don't think he ever intended on following through.
Well, he kind of said that. He's like, when they asked him, they were like,
no,
yeah.
I'm not disputing that point. I'm not disputing that point.
But all hot guys are douches.
But I don't think he ever intended on following through.
Rock is not.
Well, let's think of it this way,
The
right?
Rock's not.
So even if that was Grady's strategy, you have to think at the end of the day, it all comes down to one person winning that money. It all comes to our individual choices. The whole theme of last episode, right? So you got to think, even though that might have been Grady's tactic that he's going to try to do, what would that say about George if he did that, for example?
Right.
So you have to kind of think, next episode, is George going to sabotage for Team Green, or is George going to want to take this experience to the maximum, test himself to the maximum, and do it for him and his new team? At the end of the day, we were all there to improve ourselves.
Sure.
So how would that be improving yourself if you chose to do something dirty like that?
And to that point, I don't think there's anybody on the green team that would have done that either. I think even if that was a strategy, I can't imagine Gigi or Michael or George or Herman.
Especially after Burke's speech.
Right. I was just gonna say.
Oh boy.
Burke put it. I felt like
fear of
I
God
was
into
like,
it.
Jesus.
Like he was just like, look, okay, if you try, and then I love how they're just their reaction. I don't know if it was editing, but they were just like,
They're just like
no one's saying anything. They're just like,
No, that probably wasn't it.
yeah. And he
I was like,
if
who
you
would
try,
talk back? Who'd be like, well, you know,
take
I'm gonna
away
stop
from
you
the
right
team.
there.
Right. No, he was on him. He was
Talk
on him.
about a come to Jesus meeting.
And I like that. I like that he did that because I think and for them, I think the more if they were even thinking about it, it was just because they love their team. And it was just about like we bonded, you know, we don't want to get broken up. Like, and that part I understand. You know, being part of team playing sport or whatever. But at the same time, I'm gonna finish. Let me finish. It's not fair because again, and like you said, Scarlett, this is an individual competition at the end of the day, and the whole thing is to not only try and win, but at the also time better yourself and find your grit, so to
well,
speak.
I also feel like not only was it that, but he had a tactic. Like when you talk to someone like that, I'm sorry, he even made me feel shitty watching it. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, sorry. You know what I mean? So like, he's already putting that into your mind. Like, remember, you're a shitty person. Everyone's going to see it.
Right.
And there's some people who really don't care what other people think. They'll do whatever they have to do. So he's, you know, he knows that one of these guys is going to be on his team. So he's like, let me talk to them. Let me tell them, like, look, you don't perform. You're a shitty person. Of course they're going to perform because they're going to want to prove you wrong.
Exactly.
Every natural human instinct is you say I can't, well, I'm going to.
Right.
And like Ty said, I think also I can't see any of them doing that. Like I don't think that that's their nature.
Right.
Like I don't think that that's. I could see maybe a Carla being like, okay, let's get it. You know.
Nah, I don't think so because Carla.
No,
yeah,
I don't think
I'm
so.
just saying if it was going to be.
If it was anyone, I could
Carla
see
be-
that. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
those four, no, I didn't see it at
there it
all.
is.
Exactly.
I said it.
Let's talk
fair.
about the Ranchgate. This
There we go.
is garbage right
Yeah,
there.
oh my gosh.
You guys didn't have vinaigrette or Italian? Like,
I'm like,
I
so
called it.
I
When she went off on old boy Sherman, I was like, really?
Right from jump.
That's how you feel. That's how you feel.
Yeah.
So the premise is Allison supposedly is sick. Off of some ranch that she ate, which I still don't know how much she had. How much is going to get you
was
sick?
like, how much did you eat?
Right. I thought that was funny. The whole bottle? Like, did you take it to the head? Like,
Yeah,
what's going on?
What did she think it was?
Right.
though?
I
Like,
don't know.
what was it? Non-lactose buttermilk ranch?
Well, it was, yeah.
Girl.
And
She
so I love Janessa because instantly it seems that you're just like, this girl right here knew she's lactose intolerant, knows you might be up for elimination, is in front of the cadre while you're puking. This looks like some garbage right here.
Yeah.
Right in the direction.
Exactly.
Yeah, but even before that, they doubled down and said, I've been with this chick this whole time watching her eat as far as she's a very particular individual. She reads all the labels.
Right.
So now, like, when you said that, I was like...
I mean, and Scarlett can vouch. People were pissed because they took all the no peanut products. Like, anything she was allergic to, they took everything.
They took it out of the house?
I mean, when I say
Peanut butter
limit, it
withdrawals.
was a
We were
rolling
like-
joke. Like, they took everything. We couldn't have any peanut butter, nothing. It was like, let's go get some peanut butter whenever people would get mad.
Right.
And everything she had an allergy to, it was so meticulous. I mean, everything. We had lactate milk, because I'm lactose intolerant. And I didn't do dairy. Well, I'm lying, because I had so much gas. I was crop dusting, like, listen. you, this is the
Keep it
truth.
real.
We're in the woods.
Right.
The woods were there before the cabins were there, so technically was I farting inside. Anyway, so Allison, I could, after a while, it was kind of like consoling her, and I'm like, wait a minute, pause. Because the property, you can see the drone shot from the top. It's so big. And she had this corner she smoked in, or can I say that? Whatever. So she had this corner she would do her little do-in or whatever.
Right.
And she had that corner. She could have ran over there and puked. And you have to go from our cabin, up the steps, through the kitchen, on the patio to face the... I mean, it takes a lot of effort to get out there. And it wasn't like, hey, I'm just chilling and we're all talking, hanging out. I'm going to go throw up on the thing all of a sudden because it just came up now.
Right.
And she was calling me. That's why you heard me say Allison first.
Right.
But she was calling my name, and I'm like, where is she? We're all in the kitchen, and you just hear her calling my name. I'm like, what is happening? So, and it's just, I'm like, wow, that is amazing.
It just
It sounds like
anyway.
She could have hidden
It
behind
sounds
a bush.
like she was sending an invitation for
Yeah.
the pity party.
And this part people don't see is she actually summoned Chloe and had Chloe take her. Remember Burke said, I was pissed, Allison pissed me off? She had Chloe take her over to the Cadre's house.
Really?
Damn.
It was like, when I say I was livid, I was like, this is true.
Wow.
Well,
Well, shout out to Chloe because I think Chloe did say, "Well, you don't really like." She has such a great heart.
She was hedging her
She's
bet.
like, "Well, you don't know," and everybody was like, "No, this bitch is trifling."
Because
Go home.
the consensus through them as well was like, yeah, she's doing this on purpose.
the whole
The house.
It was just. I was like, wow. She was cramping over like she couldn't walk and listen. I had milk today, and I'm not gonna tell y'all what happened.
Okay.
But I'm lactose intolerant.
Right.
And I sit here before you. Okay.
Got it.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
She made herself sick, but
allergy
was it with ranch? Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
What's that, Scarlett?
Her allergy was like, it was even more extreme than we can't have peanut butter. It was like, we can't eat anything with like nuts or this and that, and then touch a doorknob that she could
was bad.
potentially touch.
Damn.
It was like that
It was,
serious.
when I say bad, it was.
I wonder
annoying
why
as
they
hell.
let her on the show though.
I had
That's like
something
a lot
I was
of
about
risk.
to bring it into the cabin.
That
I started
seems-
freaking out, yelling. I had to go back in the kitchen. Like it was bad.
That
it
seems
was bad.
extreme.
That's why
Yeah.
you know,
That
and
seems
people
really
don't
extreme.
know. You see the clips because it's so they can only put so much in. But
Right.
I was like, wow,
Someone
this
should have
is
thrown a bag of
amazing.
peanuts.
Yeah, because how they
Some peanuts in her bed. Oh,
Throw peanuts in the bucket.
That reminds me of that part in Monster-in-Law where they put the nuts in like the gravy.
Yeah.
And like,
You're terrible. But it how they
never kill
edit it
anyone.
because you kind of hate her in the beginning, but then in the middle episodes, it kind of seemed like you guys were bonding.
Softened it up a little bit.
It made it seem like you guys were bonding, and then you said something. I think it's either this episode or no. Chloe had said, "I need to work my team so Janessa doesn't kill Allison." I'm like, oh, there's
Yes.
still some drama going on, not in a negative way, but more like, oh, Allison's still.
Yeah,
Allison.
it was just she what was her illness, Scarlett? PTSD, panic, anxiety attack, agoraphobic. It like
I
the
mean,
list was like wow.
yeah, like,
So-
but it didn't make sense because like we're all friends on Facebook. Like we have our own group chat. Like we
No,
stay
no,
in
we
touch.
not.
Like all of us are friends. And after
Wait,
that
are you not on
episode,
No, I know everybody.
that group chat. And anyway, on her Facebook, she claimed to be agoraphobic, but you see in her past photos that she's out, she's drinking, she's like out with friends. I was like, wait, I thought she was scared to leave the house. Isn't that what agoraphobia is? So just a lot of things don't add up with her.
Ah, interesting.
she's a liar. Liar. Hell.
Janessa. So
What drama she caused
friends are you
before
on
I left
Facebook?
that they don't show. That she even tried to cause with me and everybody else. But yeah, you just have to watch out for her. Like she's very manipulative and she does anything to be center of attention, whether it's negative or positive. And I just don't respect that, to be honest.
And so who are you not friends with on Facebook?
I can't hear you. The phone.
She's like, oh, hello. Can you hear me now?
Hello?
No.
Should I get
No.
that there?
Sorry. Static in the line. Burke ends up having to pick, obviously, as we stated, two people because Herman was already going in.
Her.
So
He should have, I would
he does
have,
pick, of course, Scarlett and Janessa to go in against Herman. Scarlett, you said that you were talking to your cadre, Ricky, and you said that you weren't ready to go in. And you mentioned about your father because he had passed away previously. Can you take us back to that moment and what you were feeling at that time?
God, it's like it just feels like forever ago. So I guess at that time I didn't know if I felt really nervous because I was going into a double elimination and I had no idea what I was getting into. But my father had passed away 4 years ago, 5 years ago almost now, and everyone that came onto the show, like we all have a story, and with editing they only show you really just tiny snippets, but we all had like crazy stories. So part of mine is like, after my father passed, my family kind of deteriorated in a way. Like I didn't speak to my mom for years. I wasn't speaking to my sister as a result of that. It was just like a whole mess. So that's something I opened up to Ricky about. But I told her, like, I'm a very spiritual person, and I felt like my father was there with me all the time. So that was something we were kind of just talking about. But she made me feel confident going to elimination. And when I was there, I felt good. And I felt like I could have been there up day. Like, my body was straight, my mind was straight. But then I moved my hand to adjust, and water got onto the block. And then my hand started slipping, and it was just like game over.
Damn.
Speaking of that, let's get to the elimination, because you were telling me, Janessa, that it wasn't exactly what we saw. It was worse in the sense.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, you said there was like Crisco on the
There's
wall.
a picture on, I think is it American Grit's page or one of the photographers. There's a guy you see months ago. He's holding like 40 cans of Crisco. So when I see this, I'm like, oh, that's what was on the wall. On the wall was covered in oil and grease.
Oh, dang.
And that's why, like, if you see a loose grip or you see us trying to readjust, it's not about us trying to get our strength. It's about you trying to hold your grip because it's oil sliding under your hand and you're trying to, it was literally Crisco. I saw the picture and I'm just puzzled putting it together.
Right.
That it was Crisco. They had all over the entire wall. And that's why we were slipping and trying to readjust ourselves and our feet are like, you can't get your grip.
Wow.
That's
Damn.
basically what it came down to.
Because that's where like I messed up. As soon as I went to adjust my hand, water and all that oil got underneath, and then I just kept feeling my hand slipping, and then I got locked into that awkward shoulder position, and from that point my hands it wasn't even that I was tired from that position, my hands just started turning in, and then I just slipped off. So that was the thing. If I could go back and I knew going in, don't change your hands no matter what, maybe things could have turned out differently, but it was very, very tough. That was something that was just out of our control, which to me was a bit disappointing because I wanted to do a challenge where I felt like if I'm going to elimination, I'm giving it my all. Like I'm going in 100%, I'm leaving in an ambulance if I have to. But I could not control my grip from slipping because of Crisco and water. It is what it is.
The way it was cut, when you first position yourself, it wasn't like a smooth, it was like my hand was getting, remember when I said, Chloe, my hand is, I was trying to, and it's funny, the editing, you would think all that went together.
Right.
Yeah. But my hand was getting cut and I had to reposition myself and then I locked in and I was good after that. But your hand was, you had to readjust yourself. Because if you stayed in one position, then it was cutting through your hand. It was like, what the hell was happening?
Wow.
But
yeah, that seemed tough.
What it is.
Scarlett, I mean, even though you were the first to go, you still lasted 22 minutes, which is a lot.
Yeah.
That's really good.
That seems
really
like it would feel like an eternity and something like that.
In that position, absolutely. And now knowing it's Crisco and water and
And it was cold.
Yeah, I think they did that because of the first challenges. You guys held on for so long. So I think as they had to adjust it, because you guys do have a lot of grit. So if they didn't put the Crisco on, imagine how long you guys would have. You guys would have lasted 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then be like, okay.
Right, the ball challenge. The ball challenge went off.
They would have started like shaking it, like get them off.
I think they wanted just for the
throwing
effect and also not
gummy
to
bears
be
at you.
out there for like 5 hours. So
That's a good point. That's a good point, TK, that they had to adjust
sense.
because you guys, especially now getting further into the game and it's getting closer to the money and it's like, I ain't moving nowhere. Your arm is breaking and tendons and, so they had to have something. Janessa, you unfortunately were the second to go. How long? I didn't get how long you had lasted.
Was it 122?
Yeah, it was like 122 or like 121.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
111.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
There you
What was the feeling like right before? Like, what was, I guess, what I know you mentioned what was going on, but was it the slipping or was it the tiredness? What got you in at the very end?
There's a controversy about this. I had an argument with my EP.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Oh.
Oh shit. And Okay, you'll see me laugh if you watch it, you see me smile. Like, there's a part where I start laughing and I'm looking in the sun. This is so amazing. And John is yelling at me. Mr. Cena's like, Janessa, focus. You know, you're good. You do this. It's nothing. You're tough. Hang in there. And I'm just smiling like, this is bullshit. You know, so, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, Allison is constantly doing this game. And based on my background, my entire story is this is the foundation. I was molested as a child from 7 to 14. And all of that balled up into me being incapable of letting go abusers. So that was my grit, me going to Camp Grit. So I felt like with Allison, you know, there's so many different levels of abuse, you know, and I felt like she had become very abusive, and it was to the point to where I go from 0 to 1,000, and I didn't want to do that. And so I started thinking, you know, like, is this worth holding on to? Then I felt like, this motherfucker don't put me up for this elimination to beat somebody else. And I know that it should not have been me up there. How many more times am I going to be made to be the sacrificial lamb because of somebody else's crap? So I, yeah, you know. I mean, from there, everybody can gather whatever they want to, but there's a clip where I'm laughing and on the wall, and I'm kind of like, this shit is funny, you know? So then I'm just like, hey, it is what it is.
Because you did have
I did notice. I was like, did she? Okay.
She smiled?
And then you have to, and sometimes, you know, jokes aside, you just have to know that whatever you got is good enough to walk away.
Word.
You know?
Damn.
Yeah.
Just end the show like
Really?
that. Damn, shit. All right.
I'm telling you. Okay,
Right.
bye guys.
I'll see y'all next week.
It seems fun, and I know people they nitpick and they talk about the show a lot, and they say that it's crap and last year was this amazing, but for some people it was hard for me to do that show. You know, outside of all the games, it was hard. You know, and you talking about it just showing spill your life in front of these people you don't know, but you know, so the great thing was they took all of our electronics and stuff, so it was a good opportunity for me to face me. And that's really what it was about. It wasn't about, and that's what I was telling George in the earlier episodes, it was about me facing Janessa. I'm not here for y'all. I don't know what you think about me. You know, I got some issues I got to figure out. The reason I'm here is because I'm always trying to please somebody else. So, I mean, it is what it is. But after a while, what took me a while to break away from, it took me a few weeks or whatever with her, and I felt good about that. I was good.
You kept it really real on the way out.
Yeah.
What she was saying to Chloe on the way out was.
And I mean, and that was, I think that would just shows where, I think with this show and what I've seen and the people that we've talked to, everyone has their own journey that they're taking. Why they doing the show? You know, it's not always about the money per se. It's about finding your true self and getting rid of maybe some demons or something else, coming face to face with things that you're dealing with. And I think that if you get to do that, then I think you've won, essentially. And if you got to do that, then you won, essentially. And then it's fine if you go because you've already won and you've already done that.
Some stuff money can't fix.
Exactly.
That's true.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
If you in the alternate universe, you could just slap the crap out of Allison real quick.
Right?
Oh man.
I know we're on the same wavelength. Like sometimes you see some people and you're crooking your head like, look, you don't really know right now, but I'm killing you slowly.
I did that in the 5th grade.
Yeah,
and I hit the girl in the face.
but because I was raised right.
Yeah.
And
they talk about my face a lot.
Yeah.
Scarlett. They talk about, why are you always looking like that? Y'all don't understand.
Because it's like you just don't want to put up with the bullshit anymore. You're just like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
really?
As I got to know Janessa, I already, just from her facial expression, I already knew like exactly what she was thinking. I'm like, oh shit, all right, Janessa, wusa. Like I already knew.
Right.
She does this smile thing where she like smirks, and it's not even like, oh, I'm being cute kind of smirk. It's like, you have no idea what's about to unleash for me kind of smirk. So I got to know Janessa's facial expressions very well while I was there.
That's good. Well, I appreciate, first of all, I appreciate both of you coming on and telling us your story. Appreciate your experience on the show. we have to close. I hate that because I really, we could just
Yeah.
keep
We could
talking
keep
about
going.
it. We could
Keep going,
Keep
guys.
going all
we
night,
do.
guys.
We do. But before we leave, I want to make sure, Janessa, that you get a chance to share your social media and where people can find you, and Scarlett, you the same. So, Janessa, let the people know where they can find you.
Facebook, Janessa A. Morgan, and everything else _ Janessa Morgan.
Oh, sweet. Scarlett, New Jersey in the building.
Jersey in the
Where
building.
you at? Where you at?
Twitter at the Scarlett Ange, ANG, and Instagram, my favorite, at Sweet Swag.
Sweet.
No numbers, no
Swag.
spaces. I am the original Sweet Swag on Instagram.
I
Word.
do have one last question for you, Scarlett. I felt like they didn't showcase you much
Enough.
enough. How do you feel about that? Because I feel like we didn't get to know we heard about your backstory just a little bit coming when you were actually up for elimination, but I barely, unless I missed something,
No,
I didn't
yeah.
really see you much. So how do you feel about that after watching the show?
I was just a bit disappointed with how the editing was. We had so many amazing stories. We all had crazy stories that you just don't really get to hear about. And the way they chose to edit, they kind of chose to highlight drama, which we weren't there for. So, me and amongst the other competitors weren't that happy. I'm happy with the privacy that I was allowed in a way where people don't recognize me in the street, and I like that. I like living a normal life. I was disappointed that they chose to showcase drama over the realness of our stories, because our stories were good enough. We were totally relatable to people, and I feel the way they edited it, we weren't as relatable to people. So I guess because I wasn't so involved with drama, I didn't get as much airtime, because I just don't do drama. I walk away. It is what it is.
Makes sense.
So I guess that's just what happened.
Word.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you being on the show.
Yeah,
And
we
we
do.
thought you
Definitely.
did
Thank
good.
you for having me.
Yes, all good. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been our show. We want to thank you so much for tuning in. All those in the live chat. I've been your host, Lem Gonsalves. You can find me at The Poet Saint all day, every day. Yvette.
You can always find me at Sports and Sass on Twitter with 3 S's and Sports and Sass with 2 S's on Instagram.
Well, I still have the hashtag going, workout with The Rock. That is still my dream and my wish, my birth season. So let's make it work. I also have donating to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America for my birth season. We are in week 3 at the moment. You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad and see me on TMZ shooting the crap.
When
There
is
you
your
go.
birthday?
Yeah.
August 3rd.
Oh.
It's 6 weeks. Are you a Leo too?
No, I'm a Cancer.
Me too.
June 26th.
Oh, okay. Are you sure? You might be on the cusp. Man, that's why you're so fiery.
There you go.
All right.
She is
Nailed
on
it.
Can Ty
No
give
big
his
deal.
outro, please?
Find me on social media at Ty Matthews PMA. Find me on the Lucha Underground after show in 1 hour, and on the American Ninja Warrior after show next Wednesday,
Yeah,
9
man,
o'clock.
you got that? Let's.
There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, until next week, we will see you. Peace.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
Adios.
That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
The Lem.
That's right. That's right. There it is.
It's also the John Cena.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.